Good day, everybody. Welcome to Dental Voice with Zyris. My name is Rolando Mia, and thank you for joining us on Dental Voice. This is the third part of a three-part series highlighting Texas Tech University Health Sciences Center in El Paso, the Woody L. Hunt School of Dental Medicine, one of the, or if not the newest dental school in the country, and a school that is implementing an incredibly innovative, groundbreaking program where they're actually having D1s, first year dental students, treating live patients. In the first part of our series, we heard from Dean Richard Black, who shared his vision and what was involved in getting the school together. In the second part of this series, we heard from Dr. Fadi Fadul, who, working with Dr. Wendy Woodall, and the staff, created an incredible curriculum that supports the very cognitive and hands-on learning for the students. Today, we're with Will Henard, and this is where the rubber meets the road. Will Henard is the person at the school, at the dental school, responsible for basically making everything happen. Now, a couple things about Will before I have him come on here. I had the opportunity to spend some time with him, and he is absolutely exceptional. One of the most knowledgeable and humble people you'll meet. Will is ex-military, worked with the Army, and was responsible for the dental centers at Fort Bliss as one of the areas. So thank you, Will, so much for your service, and very much appreciate that. And you can see the honor and the integrity from having come from that. In addition to that, he's also an RDA and a CDA, as well as having his BS and MSH. So Will is the perfect person for doing this. Good morning, Will. Thank you for joining us. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Ro. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the opportunity to, of course, put Texas Tech on the platform.
Well, this is that. So, what I'd like to do is jump right into this, and spend some time to hear from you what you've done and why it's so important with regard to the vision at the Woody L. Hunt School of Dental Medicine, and maintaining the integrity of the program, safety, and processes. So, what's involved with that?
Well, first, Ro, thank you for acknowledging and supporting those that are putting on those boots and standing in harm's way. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you for your support. Um, so, Texas Tech Oral Health Clinic, of course, a part of the Woody L. Hunt School of Dental Medicine, co-partner right across the street, located from the Distance Learning Center, which, of course, we had the opportunity to go and visit before coming across the street to the health clinic. 145 chair dental clinic that, of course, we are taking great pride in establishing for our 40 inaugural students here at Texas Tech El Paso. I think it all starts, Ro, with the foundation and the fundamentals of anything, and that's establishment of the team. I think that we've done a great job thus far hiring key personnel that have the great amount of experience, not just in dental assisting or in the dental realm, but also in academia. We do have a wealth of knowledge here and a plethora of personnel that have the ability and all the experience that they bring with them from different universities to actually pave the foundation for this great establishment we call the Woody L. Hunt School of Dental Medicine. I'm super excited to be a part of this team and look forward to the many years of education and dentists that we get to put out for our community here in El Paso, Texas, which we know is a greatly underserved population here. I'm sure Dr. Black has relayed to include Dr. Fadul about the shortage of dentists that we have here in this somewhat of a remote location. You know, even El Paso being the sixth largest city in Texas, due to its geographical location, it is sometimes hard to get the right amount of health care that is equating to the population.
Oh, that's incredible. I love the fact that in addition to establishing, clear processes, you mention people and you highlight the importance of that. How do you marry those two together, and what's involved with that for ensuring quality?
Well, I mean, I think it all starts with what Dr. Black talked about a few days ago in a meeting, and we have to call it divine intervention. We're put in places a lot of times, and we cross paths with a lot of people that it might not be in your first initial encounter that you think that this may be the last time that you actually get to meet or cross paths with people. We've been fortunate, and we have the opportunity, since we are hiring and establishing a brand new faculty and staff here, that we get to kind of handpick what I call the dream team. And so far, we've been able to uh, select the top quality candidates here at the Woody L. Hunt. And I think it all has to do with hiring. Of course, there's the standard hiring process that involves going through HR, filtering through resumes, looking through CVs. But ultimately, when that interview comes in, a lot of times, that's when you really get to see. And we don't just stop at the first interview. If you actually make it through the first phase of interviews, we always bring you in for the second interview. We do know that, of course, COVID has changed a lot of the ways that we interview, but we still like to take that just a step further to always give somebody the opportunity to see what they're going to experience and see the clinic for themselves and the operations that we're running, so that it gives them a true image of what they're going to be encountering if they so decide to join the team. And we've been very fortunate thus far to be able to select some hand quality people that are really, really engaged and focused on, of course, the vision that Dr. Black has established for the school.
Yeah. So when when you're going through that process and you share with them that, hey, at this school, something that we're going to do completely different from all the other schools in the country is right out of the gate, we're going to have our students actually treating live patients. What's kind of the response that those people have with regard to that?
Well, I think kind of like you said, with change, a lot of organizations, and I think it's just human nature in itself that we don't like change. We're very, very methodological in our approaches, and we're very routine in our ways. And a lot of times when things are shaken up, it kind of brings doubt and it raises eyebrows. So, but I look at it like anything else with the advancement of technology and education, and of course research and science. I think that you look at a lot of the establishments, and a lot of the things are kind of dated, if you will. I'm not here to definitely down any of the institutions that are in current practice. But
Right.
when you look at, I'm going to take something as simple as my hobby as a DJ. When I was a DJ a while ago, we would go and we would have these analog turntables that we would have to lug around 3, 4, 5, 6 crates of records in order to do a set. And nowadays, everything's kind of streamlined through a laptop. Don't get me wrong, I still think it's very important to learn the fundamentals. But I think that it also, you need to be able to evolve with technology and accept that a lot of things are for the better, and remaining on the cusp, if you will, no pun intended, of technology, because the future is changing, and the future is always evolving. And I think it's important to be able to provide a quality education and tie that in with technology. And that's exactly what we're doing here at the Woody L. Hunt School of Dental Medicine, is taking the curriculum and pretty much putting it upside down. Um, I will allow, of course, Dr. Black and especially Dr. Woodle. I think you'd be remiss if you did not actually be able to get her opinion and get an interview with her, because I know that she could probably go in a lot more great depth and detail of why, and the ins and outs of why that curriculum is the way it is.
That is awesome. Talk to me about protocols. When I joined you and I had the opportunity to spend time at this school, you were very adamant about establishing clear protocols. What's the context around that? Why?
So protocols, I mean, they're established everywhere. I mean, it doesn't have to be just from my military background. Even when I did time within the local El Paso Community College, there's protocols, and especially when I did a stint with the public health department with the city of El Paso, protocols have always been in place, and I think that they're put there and established to be able to relay a process and a procedure to where it allows very little room for error. And of course, this being a brand new establishment, we do have the Texas Tech family, if you will, where they, of course, have a great hub and a wealth of knowledge of policies that are established for local use. But when it comes to, of course, dentistry, of course, is its unique animal, where there are some similarities when it comes to medical care, but a lot of things
Right.
are geared specific towards dental treatment. Just to give you a quick rundown of some of the things that we're working on and establishing to put in place, and it goes with any dental clinic. Of the experience that I've had in the past, I've always walked into a facility that was already fixed, established, protocols were in place. And of course, they just needed to be tweaked, if you will, and possibly updated, especially with us working in the environment of COVID. But some of the things we're working on, as the unit safety officer, we're talking sterilization operations. We've got sterilization operations here at Texas Tech that is absolutely second to none, and you got to witness that. I've only seen the type of grade and quality that is located here in hospital grade settings, where central material stations, where they're able to handle surgical procedure and instruments from ortho, gynecology, and things of that nature. So we actually have a sterilization room that is able to and equipped to be able to handle any and all dental procedures. To include, we're in the process of trying to see if we're going to branch out to lend a hand to our neighboring facilities and assist them with
That's
some
cool.
sterilization processes as well.
That is so. Sterilization processes, protocols. What are some of the hardest things, or if in with regard to our viewers and other schools, or your experience? Let me put it that way. What are the most important things that you need to ensure are in place, and then what's the key to ensuring that they do happen?
Well, I think it all starts somewhere, right? Every journey starts with the first step. So I think that establishing and again, huddling yourself around those individuals that have that experience. I'll take, for example, our clinical manual, if you will. That clinical manual is going to encompass all of the procedures and policies with appendices, pictures, and all the established protocols in one hub. But just to give you, again, a minor breakdown, we're talking sterilization operations, which includes the decontamination of equipment and the dispensing of equipment. We're talking needle sticks, foreign objects in the throat. We've been gracious enough to have the assistance of our auditing team to assist us to ensure that, when we're handling of money and cash and things of that nature, refunds, that we have a streamlined process that to make sure, of course, the books are lining up for the tax season. We have the security when it comes to active fire protocols, active shooter, things of that nature. Infection control, of course, is a big one, how that branches out and everything that's involved there. Of course, evolving into COVID, this building was actually equipped with the HVAC team and all of the engineers. When they established it so that it would have the rate of 12 turnovers per hour, which is, of course, in compliance with the regulations
Yeah,
of
for the air, right?
for the turnover rate, of course. Dealing with infection control. We're talking medical evacuations, the policies and procedures of medical equipment, the continuation of operations plans. If something happens with a day, a week, or a month within the facility, what backup plans do we have to be able to continue and forge through with pursuing and continuing with the education and teaching of students. Something as simple as key control. How are we going to monitor and manage all of the keys in the facility? Who has what keys? A big one, of course, radiology, and everything that comes with radiology as far as the process and procedures when it comes to taking the radiographs, billing. I could keep going, Ro. Uh,
No,
there's
see,
it's a complete broad umbrella that kind of encompasses everything. But the good thing is that here at Texas Tech El Paso, we do have a great team of support with all of our admin staff, our IT staff, our HR staff, and of course our partners right across the street at the DLC Learning Center. So we're a very cohesive team that we utilize all our assets. And I think the biggest thing is, of course, identifying those personnel of those subject matter experts and applying the knowledge that they have and experience, to complete that hub so that spoke can keep spinning.
that's good. And as far as with the Hunt School of Dental Medicine having D1 students treating the patients, does that change what you need to put in place, or does it make it even more important, to establish things? How is that affected?
Well, this last semester, Ro, was really kind of our guinea pig semester, if you will.
Right.
You have a new facility with new personnel, with new students, with new faculty integrating, and again, it's a foundation. So we have a lot of lessons learned. We completely do meetings. I would say on a
Right.
weekly, if not biweekly basis, with different departments, simply for the fact that everything is new And of course, we are incurring challenges when it comes to, some of the either the equipment or the IT aspect, because, we are a digital school. So with that, with any technology, there's going to come challenges. So it's really just kind of syncing everything and getting everything in place and the people in place to be able to actually execute seamlessly, which is a goal that we're all working towards, not without its challenges, of course, but everybody on the team is, again, focused on Dr. Black's vision of being able to provide for the students and ultimately our community benefiting.
That is amazing. You know, the one, when I joined you, I noticed you have a meeting almost every day, or you brought the entire team together, you covered things. That's just it's almost like, as large as you are, you're still operating very intimately with each of the different departments. And how do you find time to do all of that?
I'm never one that likes to meet to meet. I don't like to have a meeting about a meeting to go to a meeting. But it is important to huddle the team together. And I think that when we look at, everything's evolving. There's always new ideas. There's always a better way. We're very organic here. We don't like to remain in a box, if you will. We like to try and think outside the box. And something as simple as, taking an X-ray or
Right.
retrieving uh, an operative cassette from the dispensary. We're always looking at how we can streamline processes and make things more efficient to better handle the schedule and accommodate, the DLC and of course the training that they receive here at the oral health clinic. So it's just really finding the time and making the time and adhering to the time. So, there has to be a level of discipline when it comes to the goal that you're trying to reach, as with anything.
So, are there any specific protocols that you've put in place because these students are so, they're so new to live patient treatment?
I think some of the protocols that we're actually establishing right now are still very organic. We're building them again. This first semester was our kind of learning semester, if you will, our learning curve. So we're taking this and we're tweaking it. I mean, we can start from the simple aspect of how to check in a patient. People are using iPads. Not everybody's used an iPad before, so we have to think and be creative on what's going to happen if the iPads go down. Uh, what about transitioning them back to radiology? What's the process for bringing them back? How can we streamline it? You've seen the PSS carts that we have, the patient service specialist carts. So this cart again is a tool that we're trying to get functional so that the patient, once they check in and they're done at the dental chair, they would be able to be charged, rescheduled uh, at the chair, so that when they're done with the procedure and they're departing the clinic, they don't have to go back and stand in line and wait for the front desk receptionist. They're able to then depart and move on with the day. So I just think that being able to tie in processes that make sense and are applicable to the situation that you're in, um, and trying not to overthink policies, I think is a big thing too, because a lot of times we can get so deep in the woods that we forget that we're in the forest. So it just takes the team.
Right. And then as far as treatment of the actual patients, I love the fact that you've streamlined the engagement. You're actually focusing the students to understand that they're treating people, not just the mouth. What are things that you put in place specific to the clinical aspects of it, where you've got a brand new student inside the mouth of a patient? Are there any things that you put in place that, advice that you'd give other people if they're exploring doing the same thing?
I think the first thing that we have to really think about, Ro, is these students are not just put in the clinic, and of course given the tools and allowed to run amok, if you will. The students,
Right.
of course, they all have their highly educated, highly qualified uh, group leaders who, of course, give them the supervision and walk them through each of the processes. I know that it can seem scary to have a D1 student go in and do a prep for a class one, but I have no doubt, and again, with the support of the staff and faculty, I have no doubt that I think we are going to be the ones to actually spearhead the changing of how dental curriculums are written. Because again, I'm not here to throw shade on any other of the curriculums that are out there, but again, with the evolution of time and changing, it really only makes sense, to have to wait 3 years before you're actually given a handpiece and start to prep the anatomy of a tooth. To me, seems it seems that you're wasting valuable clinical time. And if the consensus of the graduate is that they don't get enough clinical time, I think that this would be the only proper way to resolve that, would be to get them in the clinic and have them, teach and do.
That's it. Teach new. Yeah. So what I'm taking away, protocols are key. Following them, ensuring that they're being followed is key. But the real key are people, and having a group of like-minded people who understand how important it is to understand the stakes that are associated with, that the context around recognizing that and making it clear that your students aren't just given a handpiece and say, "Hey, have at it." You're following very strict and very specific processes and protocols to ensure that as they're moving in each step, it sounds like there's guidance, support, but also freedom to learn, which I think is hugely powerful. I love
It
that.
is. It is. When you think about, I guess one of the platforms that we utilize to be able to kind of help us identify some of the chinks in the armor that we had, if you will, is we did a very soft opening with just our Texas Tech community, to allow the students to do a screening so that we can go ahead and identify those candidates that qualified for that student level care that they were at. But who better to take care of you than family? So, when we look at it, the first personnel that we had were, of course, our Texas Tech family here at Texas Tech. So, we had staff, we had faculty, we had residents, we had the whole pool come in, and, they did their screenings, and those that qualified were treated, and some are still receiving treatment to this day. So we were able to utilize that to the best of our ability to identify and implement our processes and see, again, where those holes lie, so that we can make those improvements. But again, uh, everybody is seen as a body, and definitely not as a number. This is not a numbers game that we're playing here. We are dealing with,
People.
human beings and people.
That is cool. So, um, for our viewers or for other institutions who are considering, either revising, adding, updating, just changing their processes, what advice would you give them to kind of round this up?
I think, Ro, honestly, it again, you're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with. I think if you were to get a think tank of individuals that aspire to have that same goal, I think that would be a definite start, would be to get yourself around like-minded individuals that are seeing the way of the future of dentistry, and then start there. Uh, by the time that occurs, I would definitely say that we here at Texas Tech University Health Science Center El Paso, we will then definitely have a better grasp on things. And we are here to, of course, lend a hand to any institution that is willing to change their curriculum and want to evolve their curriculum as well.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's awesome. Well, first of all, really appreciate you taking the time to share with us what you're doing, the whys behind that. Viewers, people, if you have questions for Will or what's happening there, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll make sure we get that content or those questions to him, and then we can have him follow up. Will, if for people who are curious about Texas Tech, El Paso, Hunt School of Dental Medicine, what would be the best place for them to go for information about that?
So you can go to the actual website that we have, and the actual website that we have is going to be, it is the HHTPS semicolon // TTUHSCEP.edu.
Okay, fantastic. And we'll put that up there. Any closing or final remarks that you'd like to share regarding the school, what you're doing, your students, your staff, your team, as we close this down?
Of course, want to give a shout out to the Woody L. Hunt School of Dental Medicine, all of the faculty, staff, and support team that help us every day to continue to forge forward in our mission here. Of course, want to give another shout out to the Hunt family and the Paseo del Norte for all of the contributions that they have given to make this possible. Of course, Dr. Black, our heroic leader, who is the tip of the spear and leading the way as we move forward. Of course, my right hand, I should say, I'm his right hand, excuse me, Dr. Fadi Fadul. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Zyris. Thank you all for your contributions to the school, for allowing us to be able to, comfortably take care of our students, our patients with all of the nice gadgets that you all have in place.
Oh, fantastic. Well, hey, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate that. Everybody, if you have questions, this is truly a leading edge, state of the art, very innovative program. If you have questions, check out Texas Tech, El Paso, and the Hunt School of Dental Medicine. It's an incredible program. Really want to thank you, Will, for taking the time to share this with us.
Thank you, Ro.
I think it's important that, change is how we learn, how we evolve. And I love the fact that you're kind of challenging the status quo, but you're also doing it very methodically and very specifically around, different aspects of it and incorporating what you learn in that. The kind of the vision, the curriculum, and then the execution are all aspects of that. And really appreciated the learnings that we had around that. So thank you for that. Thank you for your time. Sometime further down the road, as we get into this, would you be willing to come back and share additional learnings and how things are going? Is that something you'd be up for?
Of course, I'd be honored. Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, folks, those of you who've joined or checked this out, if you like it, please share. If you have questions, please send them out to us. If there's anything that you need to or want to know about the Hunt School of Dental Medicine, please reach out to them. Will, happy holidays to you and your family. Please say hi to the entire
family, bro.
Yeah, yes. to the entire Hunt School of Dental Medicine family. Also, say hi to everyone there for me and us. And thank you for this. Take care.
Wreck 'em Raiders.
Right on. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.